everyone. It's Monday. We're sort of still here. You're not. Either are we really. You're watching Techstrong, gang. Hey, good morning. Good Monday, everyone. It's Alan Schimmel for Techstrong. We're recording this while we're still out here in lovely, lovely Salt Lake City, wrapping up our KubeCon coverage. It's been quite a KubeCon with a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz, a lot of information. Happy to be sharing our wrap-up set here with really the core of our gang, right? To my right, Chief Content Officer Mike Vizard, and to my left, CTO, Chief Tech Officer and future VP Analyst Mitchell Ashley. Gentlemen, it's been a week.
It's been a good week.
It's been a good week.
Yeah.
It's been a good week. I'm a lot of stuff. If you caught yesterday's, or actually Friday's Techstrong gang, we talked a lot about sort of our opinions on or thoughts on the show itself and goings on.
Open source business models.
Yep.
Things we think about.
But one of the things that came out, Mike, and I know you've been kind of working on it, is this. It came up on the keynote stage, is the whole patent troll issue, which has reared its head now in open source in a big way.
Yeah, it surprised me that they actually led off the conference with that as the first item in the keynote. And I'm not sure everybody in the audience really appreciated the conversation, but it was telling to me that the CNCF is worried about it. They launched this little heroes program where they're giving away swag and prizes to help for anybody that helps them discover prior art that can be used to invalidate a patent or that a troll has managed to take over or just bought or however they acquired it. As you have a legal background, but as far as I can tell, there's nothing illegal about being a patent troll. It's just that you're kind of maybe slightly immoral.
Well, if it was up to me, I would have capital punishment for patent trolls, but legal or not. But no, there is nothing illegal, and that's what they do. They utilize the court system. But really, what the patent troll does, and it's true in this case, 150%, is that it's nuisance. It's the classic nuisance kind of. We're gonna stop. My mic is fucked up.
Yeah, I figured that. I think something's happening with the hat over here.
No, I don't TNCF. Jim with LF.
Jim Zemlin is the head of the Linux Foundation. Priyanka Sharma is head of the NCS.
So Jim, what is it?
Jim Zemlin?
Zim better.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna start all over? That'd probably be the easiest.
Okay. Start really from the beginning or from like the first break?
The first break, like the first thing.
Okay.
Now hit record this time.
One more time, Andrew. One more time. You're on thin ice. Hey, everyone. Happy Monday morning. It's Alan Schimmel for Techstrong and Techstrong Gang. We are wrapping, if you couldn't tell, we're still here in Salt Lake City. It's a little quiet out on the floor here. It's the last day of KubeCon, and we're giving you our wrap-up as Techstrong Gang today. By the time you watch this, God willing, we'll all be back home. I'll be in a warmer climate and enjoying the sun. It's not so for you, Mitchell. Oh, no, you might enjoy the sun. It's sunny in Colorado.
That's a little bit, it changes all the time, Colorado. I haven't looked at the weather report, but
So let's face it, a lot of people in Colorado are very high.
it is high.
And they can't even look at them. You don't read the weather report.
I'll be in Las Vegas this week.
Actually, you're going to be in Las Vegas.
That's right, Las Vegas, actually.
All right.
So you're both at OpenText World.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So if you're in OpenText World, look for these two guys. If you don't know them, the guy here on my right, Mike Vizard, Chief Content Officer, Techstrong Gang member. And here on my left, Mitch Ashley, CTO, future and VP Analyst. And as they said, they'll both be at OpenText. So looking at this week, guys, we've done some wrap-ups on our thoughts on KubeCon and what some of the trends. But there was one thing in particular, Mike, that you brought up, and it didn't that you brought it up It was like the leadoff thing from Jim Zemlin on the keynote stage. Oh, no, it wasn't Jim. It was Chris. Wasn't it Chris?
No, it was Jim.
It was Jim?
Yeah.
Patent trolls.
Yeah.
And, it kind of struck you. Tell us.
It surprised me. I'm not sure it was a conversation that resonated with the audience, but the fact that they let off the conference, suggests that where there's perhaps a little smoke, there's some fire going on here. The issue seems to be that a lot of the contributions that go into these projects, maybe we didn't vet that closely, and somebody did have a patent for this, and the trolls are now making some claims. And the CNCF is looking for some help from the community to identify prior art that will invalidate some of those patents, because they may be a patent that somebody acquired. These trolls go out and get a patent, and they don't really care that much of whether the patent is actually valid. They're just trying to extort some money. But you're the legal eagle. You know how this works.
Yeah. No, if it was up to me, I'd have capital punishment for patent trolls. I'd give them one warning of 15 to 25. And then after that, an injection. Well, what hand did you type with? Which fingers did you type with? Right. But, let's look at it. You mentioned a few things there about prior use, term of art, and stuff like that. The deal with patent trolls is typically they are the classic nuisance. They want to charge you just enough or just not enough where it's worth your while to go to court and call them on it and make them fight.
It's the go away payment.
Right. It's the nuisance payment. And the question is, how much is a nuisance worth? And for bigger companies, nuisances might be more money than for smaller companies, but many smaller companies are not set up. They don't have in-house counsel. They're not going to go fight these things. And if it's 5, 10, 20 grand, I'll pay it and move on. The idea with these patent trolls, they come in two flavors. There's some patent trolls who actually see something that's not been patented, and they actually put in the time and effort to get a patent out of our patent office for a particular, thing to do, for a particular patentable type of function or what have you. That could take 2 to 5 years, and it's rather expensive. And
then they go and enforce it once they
and then we go enforce it. Then there are just patent troll farms who go out and buy patents that haven't been enforced in a while but are still valid, and then go out and enforce these patents they buy. And those are the real patent trolls that, quite frankly, chopping off a few fingers isn't justice. A 22 to the back of the head would be fine. But that being said, what you'll find in most of these patents, who's to blame? The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, because they're an overworked, underpaid entity in the bowels of some government building somewhere. And what did they know about the finer points of WebAssembly language or Kubernetes and container management? People submit patents. They look if anyone else has a similar patent. They don't have the time to do the due diligence, even though it takes years to get a patent. And then they grant people a patent that probably is not valid if you look at prior use and stuff like that. And off these folks go to the, playing the lottery of our legal system and nuisance.
There's a key word we haven't used yet, which is prior art. It's not black and white of, is this the same thing as that? It's like in music, right? Did you rip off the song to write your song? And well, every song's got 4 chords and, in the Lord or whatever, every country song. So it's there's lots of shades of gray, which is where they operate in, where they think they can.
Well,
claim there's gray.
Look, the fact of the matter is, I think the overwhelming majority of the patent claims would fail if you actually took it to trial.
Went through the process.
But they count on you doing the nuisance thing. And, you look around, again, we spoke about it yesterday, there's 150, 200 small stands here up and down this whole thing. How many of these companies are going to pay an attorney 50 grand or more to go to trial, 100 grand to go to trial, when they could buy out for 10 grand or 15 grand? And that's what these trolls count on.
I didn't see the main stage conversation with Jim, but he talked at the analyst press event, talked about the same thing. What I heard the two strong messages were, one, validation. We've arrived. So unfortunately, this is a form of showing that we've arrived if they're coming after us. The other is that Linux Foundation and CNCF will stand behind it. We're going to fight it. We're not going to roll over on this stuff. And so we're putting these programs and all the things together. But it was kind of a little bit of a badge of honor that, don't want to have to deal with this, but this says that we're doing some good things here.
All good intentions aside there, I'm looking at this going, let me get this straight. So you're going to give somebody a T-shirt because they helped you thwart a $1 billion lawsuit. I think maybe the reward system's not quite
like a buzz down. No, but you want to know, look, all right, so that's setting a dial. But the idea of banding together, right? This is, but this is like the cyber insurance company saying, don't pay the ransomware, right? The idea of banding together these companies, and when the patent troll comes for one, you come for all of us. And we're going to band together and hire an attorney or law firms that just deal with this crap. And we're paying them anyway. So you want to go to war, you better bring lawyers, guns, and money.
A flavor of NATO, right?
Yeah. And banding together a community of thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of users who can cite prior use, which, make no mistake, is the kryptonite of these patent trolls.
So aren't we exploiting a legal system here that makes it just too expensive to litigate? And now
So let me tell you what the answer there is. And unfortunately, our courts don't have the cojones to do what needs to be done. I would make them take me to court on the patent litigation, and I would ask for punitive damages, legal fees, time and expense if the patent troll loses. So you want a patent troll? Let's put some skin in the game and watch these guys fold up like the cheap suits they are and crawl back under the rocks they come from.
Okay.
What can be done to make the patent office better?
Money and resources. I mean, these aren't patent attorneys. First of all, there was a time, Thomas Edison time, where you didn't have to be a nuclear scientist. There weren't too many nuclear scientists in there. Oh, there was Niels Bohr, those Rutherford, those guys. But back then, you didn't have to necessarily be such a specialist in any given discipline to understand what these patents were about. But today, I mean, if you're not a cloud native expert, if you don't understand how a microservices architecture works, or the underpinnings of how modern routing tables work, and all, name it.
How do you know it's new? It's not been seen before me.
You don't know. You don't even know. I mean, it might as well be written in Chinese or Greek. So part of it is getting people, specialists in the patent office who work on patterns in specific areas. That takes money.
What, you don't think those people are available for, $80,000 a year job, 20 years in, retirement, government salary? I mean, come on, what's the matter with that?
No. I mean, no.
I mean, are we going to overhaul the patent system? I doubt it. No.
Well, look, this was something like Brad Feld. This was near and dear to him for a year.
And there
right?
for a while, companies said,
I'm not going to do it with patents, right? That companies shouldn't do patents.
I have an answer.
What's your answer?
My answer is to put all the patents in the big giant LLM, and then that makes it easier to find which patents are actually similar, and perhaps we can use that technology to help us fight.
It doesn't hallucinate.
Yeah, but so that'll take care of 10%. Because most times it's not the troll who comes after you is not saying your patent is invalid, my patent is older than your patent. No, you don't have a patent. I do. That's the majority of the cases. So an LLM of all the patents would not help you in that case because you're not a patent holder.
Well, also, how much of it is really about the patent? How much of it is about the threat of lawsuit, money?
Right.
There's that.
It's the
That's
game of chicken.
it's exactly what it is. At some point, it becomes really about the patent, but
I
at the beginning, it's not.
I think you could have all the patents in an LLM, and then you could have a massive database of software, especially if the CNCF owns the code for all these things, and just compare the two, and then you could just start invalidating patents.
Have you ever
on
read
principle.
patents?
Yeah,
I don't even think AI could take a patent and match it to how a project is being used.
It's a very
Because these
specific
patents,
way they're written.
yeah, they're so.
Our friend Louis wrote how many patents?
Yes, yes.
IBM and
Yeah.
VMware and how many?
They're so obscurely written and hazed it's just impossible to do. It's impossible.
I think it's worth the research effort, and I think the CNCF and the Linux Foundation should go fund that thing with all their various vendor partners.
A better thing might be and I've seen this, bandied about over the years, is have something like, a first use library, if you will, right? For every patent that's out there, have a committee that hunts out first use. And if you could document that first use prior to the issuance of the patent, you have two choices. You could go have an in-house law firm that then goes to have that patent invalidated, or just wait for the patent troll, to come out from behind the rack and play whack-a-mole.
I don't think the Linux Foundation's business is solving the patent problem. I mean,
Well, when
like
you have
anybody, you're going to contain it, right? And you have the risk of something really does happen that is deemed violation and goes to court or whatever, and then there's bigger risk to it. But it's a risk you manage and a cost, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you get to the point where people won't use open source software because too many people are having to pay or going to court, that's a different issue. But I don't think you overreact. Don't over-rotate it on it yet.
Do we need
Not
to
right.
be more circumspect about the code that we do contribute to these open source projects? Because a lot of times people are, they're enthusiastic, but they're not legal eagles, and they're not checking to see whether or not this thing that they've created is actually violating some patent.
Well, they may have taken an idea they did it, at work and said, I'm going to kind of use that same idea here in my open source project. It's okay. It's open source, right? So
So now you're talking about something differently, right? This is where there's a valid patent, and are people entitled to be compensated for their patent? Yeah, that's okay. But I don't think that's a majority of these cases. I don't even think
I don't
it's a decent minority. I think that's a sliver.
isn't it a rare exception?
Right,
One of
a
these
sliver, a sliver.
especially at big companies. I mean, it's also the size of who they're going after. If they're going after Comcast or IBM or Apple, they're going to get the world thrown at them, and
Right.
I can outlast you, patent troll.
No, yeah, they're
Going
going to
after,
show,
our the 3amigos.com, and we're like, okay, please don't put us out of business, right?
right.
Not.
And it's the 3amigos.com who like, hey, my business is getting customers to use my software widget. I don't have time to play the legal eagle beagle game. Exactly.
This sounds like a form of ambulance chasing.
It absolutely is.
Let me just tell you something. On the rung of legal trash, ambulance chasing is way above the patent trolls. I'll just say that. Ambulance chases serve a purpose in society. I'm not sure what that purpose is, but they're certainly above the lowly patent troll.
I think it's to keep our insurance rates higher. That's what I figure.
I'm going to pull a Guy Curry. What are we talking about?
Well, we came back to it. Ambulance chasing. Look, what they do, it's not to keep your insurance rates high. It's not to keep your insurance rates high. If it wasn't for the ambulance chases, we wouldn't have safe products. We wouldn't have seatbelts in cars or airbags. Or we wouldn't have all these defective
Be
car
driving
toys.
Pissos and
We'd be driving Pintos and Gremlins. I like the Gremlin. You like
Corsair. Remember, I was
the
in
Corsair would be nice.
we got gremlins and trolls now. This is good.
Pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. All right. Last thoughts on KubeCon, fellas?
I enjoy this show and I keep coming back because there's things to learn here, and it is one of the best places where some of the best minds in this business are here and for 3 days, and that's joy. And so I would recommend everybody to come to, KubeCon. I mean, I know you want to have it restructured, but
Yeah.
it's still the best show in town.
There is an attraction. The people want to be part of something that come. They don't go because their boss sent them.
No,
they came.
no, this
They
is
wanna-
still a high buzz event.
Totally is. They want to be part of the community. There's a community to it. I think for us, it's a great place to get a kind of a center of gravity is happening for a little while and kind of see where things are going, what people are thinking, and some shows you don't get that. It's just kind of a vendor community and nothing wrong with that, but you don't hear necessarily where people are trying to go with their products or the market, et cetera. Here you get a really strong sense of what's happening. So I love it.
It is a fire hose, though, right? And you come here and there's just so much tech running around. Whereas when you go to a single vendor show, it's usually within a finite set of tech that you're dealing with. But here, man, it's quite like you're bouncing from one thing to the next, and it's just like, holy crap.
Agreed.
How about you?
Agreed. I love it. I think it's still a high energy show. I just wish they'd make it a little more user friendly.
Lower out.
Not too much to ask. No, I don't mind being high.
You always got to go there. You
always got to go there. We tried to do an Andy Weiner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
I
Well,
got to pick on me.
As the bartender says,
Last call.
last call. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay.
Right here. We'll see you in London at the next KubeCon. This is Alan Schimmel on behalf of Mitch Ashley, Mike Vizard. We hope you've enjoyed our KubeCon coverage. We got a full day of Techstrong TV coming at you, as well as we'll probably be live at OpenText. Right? We are sending a video crew, so stay tuned for that all this week. But for now, we're out of here, everyone. Take care.